announcement for the foreseeable future, I will only be speaking to people in Representative Jasmine Crockett memes. That's all I can tell you. If I send you this picture, you've taken it too far and I'm about to boop out on you. I'm just letting you know everything that I say going forward is now because you've taken it too far and I have to take it further. If I send you
this is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. Here is the problem.
Of course, Congresswoman, to interrupt you, but President Trump, of course, has denied any allegations of the white supremacists, and that's why he apparently fired what he. I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beatty in reaction, they believe, in part to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion in any way?
No, it doesn't change my opinion, because we saw what he literally recently just posted, and the coddling is for the white boys. That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am? Is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education. This is why they are trying to literally say we won't fund the HBCUs, because they know that if they've already gone after affirmative action and they're saying, you know what, don't allow them to come into, say, these PWIs, as we call them, don't allow them to come into these institutions. We know why they created the HBCUs in the first place. It was because they wouldn't allow us into the white institutions. And so now they're not allowing us in. And now they're saying, you know what, we're also going to defund the HBCUs. You know why? Because they don't want any more Kamala Harrises. They don't want any more Jasmine Crockett's. But I got news for them. I don't care what they do. We will fight to the end to make sure that we get our due. Because again, if you want to talk about the people that shouldn't be in this country, you probably need to look in the mirror, because the last time I checked, the Native Americans who some of ICE have been rounding up, or the Puerto Ricans who are absolutely Americans, listen, the only people that came and colonized this place are your ancestors, Trump.
Public service announcement for the foreseeable future, I will only be speaking to people in Representative Jasmine Crockett memes. That's all I can tell you. If I send you this picture, you've taken it too far and I'm about to boop out on you. I'm just letting you know everything that I say going forward is now because you've taken it too far and I have to take it further. If I send you this meme, I've already lost it, to the point that now I'm laughing at how angry you have made me. This is me asking you to repeat what you said so I can be clear before I read you the filth. If I send you this photo, prepare to be gathered, for your edges to be snatched out by the root, because I told you more than once, I'm not the one. If I send you this photo, I am trying to show restraint because we're out in the publics. But if I got to leap across something to get to you, then I will. If I send you this photo, I have talked about you, your mom, your dad, your granny, okay? Your one-eyed Uncle Joe. Everybody can get it, okay? Because you took me too far. And I did it all with a smile. Thanks.
Welcome to Let It Be Known. And I think what we need to do is get Jasmine Crockett on the program and just give her a whole hour just to talk. No questions. Just give her a speech. It's a shame. And it's not like she just started talking this way and being as fiery and on point as she is. It's just a shame that her colleagues were too afraid to put her out front where she belongs, where she is shown she belongs. And this is you talk about leadership. That's leadership. That's leadership. No holds barred. Don't care what you might feel or think. Um, the playtime's over, and Jasmine Crockett is showing you that. Um, many have continue to express worry about the perilous 4 years ahead under the dictatorship. And to that point, nationally renowned attorney Ben Crump has called for uh, folks to support the black press. Now, this is not a new call. When we had him on the red carpet, Greer and I, back in September, at the NMPA's Leadership Awards, he made that same proclamation. And then when he spoke at the NMPA's Midwinter Conference a couple of weeks ago, he also made that same plea. So it's not a brand new call, but many might just be learning about it now. He specifically called on the National Newspaper Publishers Association to be Black people's, quote, North Star. To all, he says, NMPA members and executives across the country, I say now is our time to stand up and be counted. History will ask the question, where were you when they tried to roll back our civil rights, when they tried to destroy diversity, equity, and inclusion, and when they tried to say to our children that Black history doesn't matter? Where were you? Crump demanded. Now, I agree, but I also say this. Even before his charge to Black media, we have been talking about it on Let It Be Known. I've written about it for Black Press USA. That we have reached a point, the emergency sirens have sounded a long time ago. Certainly on January 20th, we were in full on emergency. Black people specifically, uh, I wrote for our newswire that it is time for Black America to mobilize, not with hashtags, not with statements, but with action, with money, with power. Black institutions, I believe, must unite like never before. We're talking about the NAACP, the Urban League, the National Action Network, the NMPA, Rainbow Push, the CBC. No more operating in silos, no more petty differences. This is a full-on emergency. It is the type of an emergency that may have been ignored a little more than 400 years ago, when a group of about 20 Africans were brought to the new colony of Virginia and traded as slaves for food. So Black billionaires, celebrities, and business moguls, it's time to step out and step up. It's time to dig in for your inner Jasmine Crockett. Oprah, Tyler Perry, LeBron James, Jay-Z, Rihanna, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Robert Smith, Alex Karp, all of you, Melissa Bradley. You got to step up. Make no mistake, Trump is coming for you as well. Just because you're billionaires, you remember the lesson Kanye West had to learn. Bragging one day that they can't touch him because he's a billionaire. What happened the next day? He lost about $1 billion in wealth. They are saying we can show you better than we can tell you. That's the mission they're on. But we have the ability. We have the power. It's time. We know how we can be at times. I got mine. You got to get yours. That time has passed. We got to lift each other up. And the NAACP has resources that the NNPA could use. The NNPA has resources that they all can use. And you know what that resource is? The power of the Black press. The power of the Black press. And so that's where we at. We have a special guest this morning. We'll be bringing on shortly. But first, let's get to some more headlines. With Donald Trump winning a second non-consecutive term as president, his reign so far has been marked by many of the richest and most powerful people in America bending the knee and kissing the ring. It looks like the NFL may be the next in line to kiss the ring, or has kissed the ring. They have announced that they are putting away their racism messaging for the Super Bowl as Donald Trump prepares to attend the Super Bowl. And that can only be classified as Odd timing, right? Yeah, right. This display, taking away the display of end racism at the Super Bowl is just again kissing the ring. Um, the NFL is trying to defend that in a statement. Brian McCarthy says that the decision was made to choose those messages as inspirational ones after the terrorist attack in New Orleans last month. That is as Bernie Mac would say, that is some bull. Come on. We know what you are doing. And they are bowing to Trump. And this is really, really bad. And you have again, this is I think is you got to call on Jay-Z, who is in the middle of it all with he's behind the whole NFL entertainment with the Super Bowl. He makes the choice. He's the reason why we are going to see Kendrick Lamar on Sunday. But this is why folks get upset when a Snoop Dogg or a Nelly or Soldier Boy go perform for Donald Trump. It's not rocket science why black folks get upset. This is why black folks get upset when you see Joe Biden and Barack Obama and Bill Clinton go to that inauguration. You have to understand. Also, and RNG says the black players need to be called out. And Trixie says Jay-Z cares about his money, not his people. And my point too, hey, they are free moral agents, can do whatever they want. But listen, you made to Trixie's point, you made your fortunes, your fame, and everything off the backs of people that are being just annihilated. The Trump administration has begun another phase of its Project 2025 mandate, and this is another problem. They are drafting an executive order that would kick off the process of eliminating the Department of Education. They say the move is going to come in two parts. The order would direct the Secretary of Education to create a plan to diminish the department through executive action. And then Trump is also going to push for Congress to pass legislation to end the department, as those working on the order acknowledge that shutting the department would require Congress's involvement. It's interesting that he hasn't gone through Congress for any of this devastation he's heaped upon not only America, but the world. The Department of Education is being targeted by none other than co-president Elon Musk, co-dictator. Dozens of employees at the Education Department were placed on paid administrative leave this past Friday as part of Trump's larger effort to get rid of federal workforce employees. And again, staying with that theme of folks messed around and found out. Remember this whole thing that the unions, as much as the Biden-Harris administration stood up and passed had legislation passed and also did executive orders strengthening unions. Well, the reign of terror that Donald Trump is heaping on unions continues. A controversial bill seeking to limit or ban public labor unions' collective bargaining power was put on pause in Utah as Senate leaders continue to hash out HB 267. The big rally by union members protesting this bill. But they are trying to this is the playbook of Project 2025. It wasn't like people didn't know. Again, they are showing you better than even that 960-page document told you. And once again, black folks included, are up in arms about the Biden and Harris administration when it came to Israel and Palestine. Where are you folks now? Yesterday, Trump declared the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip. He wants to build Trump Tower over there. But it is getting pushed back globally. John Sweeney, Scotland's first minister, condemned Trump's plans for Gaza as unacceptable and dangerous, saying there must be no ethnic cleansing. In a post on Blue Sky, he said, after months of collective punishment and the death of over 40,000 in Gaza, any suggestion that Palestinians should be removed from their home is unacceptable and dangerous. There must be no ethnic cleansing. Only a proper two-state solution will bring lasting peace. Scotland's former first minister, whose parents-in-law were trapped in Gaza for a number of weeks in 2023, also described Trump's plan as ethnic cleansing. He posted on social media that why is it a living hell? Questioning Trump, calling it a living hell. Who bombed it, killing tens of thousands of people, including children, and reduced Gaza to rubble? This guy he's unhinged, as we knew. Trixie says the Arab Muslims went and voted for Trump and are now mad about the Gaza Strip. RNG says that the athletes of the Ali Summit would never play in that game. Read about talking about the Super Bowl. Read about the black players refusing to play in New Orleans during the 60s over racism. Yeah, she said. Trixie says World War III is really going to happen, and I feel like it may happen on U.S. soil because of this man. May very well. I mean, he's alienating our closest and most friendly allies like Canada. On another front, the Proud Boys no longer have control over their own name. Under a ruling by a Washington judge, the infamous far-right group was stripped of control over the trademark Proud Boys and was barred from selling any merchandise with either its name or its symbols without the consent of a black church in Washington that is its members vandalized. If you remember, in June 2023, the church won a nearly $3 million default judgment against the Proud Boys after the organization's former leader, Enrique Tarrio, who received the pardon from Donald Trump. They attacked it in a night of violence after a pro-Trump rally in December 2020. Tanya M. Jones, I should say, of the Superior Court of the District of Columbia, said that this means that the Proud Boy chapters across the country can no longer legally use their own name or the group's traditional symbols without the permission of the church that was attacked. I think that's just punishment. How about that? It's the Metropolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church. The church can now also, if they choose, seize any money that the Proud Boys might make by selling merchandise like hats or T-shirts with their name on it or any familiar logos. And Enrique Tarrio had the audacity to say that the church should have its nonprofit status revoked, and B, here's the most the most outrageous thing he said was that the judge should be impeached. Just outrageous. But this is what Trump has empowered. This is what he's empowered. And folks, a little bit of sad news, scary news. Hip hop producer, legend, and Murder Inc. boss Irv Gotti has suffered another stroke, according to several industry insiders. As per, allhiphop.com, the status of the 54-year-old Irv Gotti, whose health has had a series of issues lately, is at this time unknown, but fans have been sending love to Irv Gotti. His representatives have not yet offered any official word on his prognosis. Gotti had a mild stroke about a year ago, and that was due to complications from his long history of diabetes. So our thoughts are with the Irv Gotti and his family for sure. Hopefully he can recover. Hate to see anybody go through something like that, but 50 Cent, of course, doesn't care. We wish for more compassion from 50 Cent, a little bit more compassion from. That's, I guess, he gives Greer another reason to hate on Queens. That y'all know she hates Queens. She be hating on Queens too hard, and we got to put a stop to that. RG says
Queens keeps on faking it.
Listen, kings comes from queens. Enrique Tarrio will end up in prison again, says Orangey. We will see. We will see. These guys are running around, Orangey, like they have complete immunity. And in a lot of cases, they do when it comes to federal laws anyway. And that's the scary part too. When you think about the Trump family and the Trump folks, they have total immunity from any federal prosecution right now anyway. So it's chaos, chaos, chaos. Well, many of you may okay, so we're gonna play a clip first. Let's check out this clip.
Cut aid from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
And on the proposal, you said that you were going to cut aid from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations?
Here's the thing with that. As you see our special guest on the screen right now, he is the Waymaker. The Waymaker Journal just named Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. as one of the 6 Phi Beta Sigma leaders who shaped Black history and changed the world. Of course, he is the National Newspaper Publishers Association's president and CEO, the former head of the NAACP, and of course, a member of the famed Wilmington 10. Dr. Chavis, welcome back to Let It Be Known.
Thank you, Stacey. And thank you, Greer. And thank all of the listeners to Let It Be Known. This is another special day that the Lord has made. And I have 10 things to announce why I say this is a special day.
10?
10 things. We're not playing. We need an action list of what we're going to do. Not what Trump is doing, not what Elon Musk is doing, not what the white supremacists are doing, not what the enemies of African people are doing, not what the evil people in the world are doing. It's time for the righteous to stand up. It's time for not just African Americans, but certainly because we are the point of the spear of the movement to end the world's manifestations of racism, of oppression, of apartheid, of discrimination. Because every inch of progress that Black people have made, it ignores benefit not only to people all over the United States, but it ignores benefit to people all over the world. So listen, this is Black History Month. Nobody can take that away from African Americans. And any idea that someone in power can take away our recognition of Black History Month, they need to look in the mirror. Because the truth of the matter is, all human beings have genetic code from African people. Let me say that again, including the people in the White House. So we're all part of one human family, but the human family is not treating each other like we're all part of one family. There's division, there's separation, there's a lot of put down. And I know a lot of people in the United States right now, particularly in our communities, Stacey and Greer, who are worried, some are scared, afraid, insecure, not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring. So what I want to do for a few minutes on this wonderful program, on behalf of the Black press of America, and on behalf of all those who yearn and cry out for freedom, justice, and equality, I do want to lay out some points. But, you know, I want to first start, I'm picking up this book. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. This is the Transatlantic Slave Trade, Overcoming the 500-Year Legacy. written by Stacey Brown and myself. Now, why am I at the outset of this commentary talking about a book that Stacey and I have written? Because books are important. James Brown told me a long time ago that the pen is mightier than the sword, that what we consciously put forth is mightier than those who try to take away our right to speak, from those who try to take away our right to vote, from those who try to take away of our right even to exist as a people, as a culture. And so I got some good news, Stacey. We are going to have this book shipped to every school system. They're talking about dismantling the Department of Education. We're talking about erecting a new Department of Education, where the books of all of our heroes and sheroes from the very beginning, you know, we should never put the education of our children, the education of ourselves in the hands of those who want to destroy us, in the hands of those who want to put us in prison, in the hands of those who want to deny us equal rights, in the hands of those who have taken over the government of the United States. But you've taken over the government, but you have not taken over the people. You've taken over structures, but you have not taken over God. You've taken over programs, the aid for the international development. You know, you stop wanting helping people, but we should not stop wanting to helping people. Help ourselves and help all of those. So, Stacey, you know, I don't want to make a sermon. You know, I'm a preacher. I'm excited. I think that what Ben Crump is called, I want to thank Benjamin Crump for coming to our Midwinter Conference 2 weeks ago and renewing his call for the Black press of America to help, not alone, but to help mobilize millions of our people. We've done it before, and we're going to do it again. So, Stacey, I'm going to let you ask questions before I run down my 10-point program.
You haven't yet, huh?
No. That was the prelude. That was the introduction, the context out of which I'm going to be bold enough to make these statements. And I want everybody to get out a pen and paper because this program is being taped, right, Stacey?
It's live right now, Doc. But yes, it'll live in infamy right here.
Okay, where will it live? When people, everybody's going to be calling people to see what Reverend Chavis is saying, what Dr. Chavis is saying, I need to hear that again. And for all you young hip hop cats, you know, I'm the minister in Belly. I told you in that movie, I knew this was coming. I knew evil was coming. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Can we turn from our own self-destruction? Can we turn from our own ability and even some of our insecurities where people play us against one another? You're right, Stacey. It's time for unity. So I'm saying to every part of our generations, intergenerationally, from our youngest to our oldest, we all got something to do now over the next few days, the next few weeks, the next few months, and the next few years. And we ain't gonna let nobody turn us around.
Why do I feel like Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror should be playing in the background? Doc.
We're gonna get a theme song, but
let
me know because I got this on paper. Let me know when I can start.
Okay, but first let's talk about South Africa, because I think this is important as well, because Elon Musk, of course, is from South Africa, and he's saying, he and Trump, that the president over there is giving land owned by white landowners to black folks. And if you obviously, and you can break this down for folks a lot better than I can, but I just want to set it up that first of all, what they are alleged to be doing over there needs to be done here. They during apartheid, we know what happened. They stole land.
But Stacey, keep in mind, apartheid didn't start in South Africa. It started in the United States of America. And when the regimes of colonialism took over Southern Africa, the leaders of apartheid came to America to see how Americans were holding down and exploiting people of African descent. And so it is not, Elon Musk is from South Africa. So it's no shock that he's trying to now construct and financially support American apartheid. So, you know, but I got South Africa on my list here.
It's on the 10 points, Doc.
Yeah, so let me just go ahead and start quickly because I want people to take notes. Number one, on this Friday, February the 7th, at 12 noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, the Black Press of America is going to convene. I want all of the publishers, I want all of the editors, I want all of the writers, I want all of the supporters. We're going to probably break the Zoom call. We're going to have so many people on the call. And I'm going to announce that the Black Press is convening. That's number one. We're convening this Friday on February the 7th. And for those of you who play the numbers, you know what 7 means to us.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute, Doc.
Okay, now listen to me. Listen to me now. Number 7 on February the 7th. Black Press meeting together. 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 12 noon Eastern Time. You're going to receive later today the internet link where the leaders of the Black Press, and when I say the leaders, not only the board of directors of the NNPA, the executive committee of the NNPA, but all the publishers of the NNPA, all the editors of the NNPA, all the writers. And I want to say we invite our friends from NABJ, we invite our friends from all the independent Black writers out there, Black programs producers, those in the print press, those in the digital press, those in podcasts, those in doing what Greer and Stacey are doing this morning and have been doing every morning so valiantly over the years, but let it be known. You know, all the people who watch the Chavis Chronicles, all the people who watch PBS or listen to NPR, we are coming together. And this
Doc,
is
before you go, Doc, okay, before you go to the next point, let me say this. I'm glad you said that because we have been saying this for a while and we're so happy. I know you just came from one of your many business trips that you have to take. Doc was overseas until a few days ago, but we have been saying this for a long time now, since November, I should say,
Yes.
since that election, that we needed to gather because folks are in disarray. And leadership is needed more now than ever.
This is a public gathering on February the 7th.
Well, the public needs it.
But also I'm going to talk about a private gathering.
So if it's private, Doc, you don't want to talk about it.
No, well, no, I'm saying number one is public.
Okay.
Number one is public. February the 7th. On February the 8th, Saturday, I'm going to meet privately with the nation's Black leadership. I'm not saying where, I said when, and I'm not saying who's going to be in the meeting, but I've already talked to them over the last 72 hours, and everybody's agreed to confer. And the reason why we're doing it privately, Stacey and Greer, we are not going to tell the people who oppose us what we're getting ready to do so they can then plant seeds of division among us to make sure we don't do it. Okay? So February the 7th, Black Press meets. February the 8th, Black leaders confer. On March the 2nd, put this down, we're all going to Selma, Alabama for the voting rights. And this is not just going to be a commemoration of what happened in 1965 on Bloody Sunday. March 2nd, we're going to reaffirm our voting rights, reaffirm our civil rights, reaffirm our human rights, not just to America, but to the world. And there'll be tens of thousands of people marching across the Edmund Pettus Bridge on March the 2nd. Put that down, voting rights. And let me just say, for all the people who are concerned about who controls the Senate, who controls the House, who controls the executive branch, who controls the Supreme Court, etc., who controls the state legislatures around the country, who controls the so-called red states, and who controls the so-called blue states. Let me just say this. If more of our people had registered to vote and come out to vote, we wouldn't be facing this crisis. I'm not putting it all on black people. A lot of people that did not go to vote, a lot of people are angry, said, well, we're going to teach the Democrats a lesson. Really? Okay. Listen, this is not about Democrats or Republicans or independents. This is about our fundamental human right to have a way to express ourselves politically, economically, socially, and culturally. So on March the 2nd, I hope everybody says Sunday. I hope everybody got that on their calendar. And then number 3, I want to say that on April the 4th, we're calling on everybody to come to Memphis, Tennessee. That's the date of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. I've talked to some of the leaders in Memphis. We got a great newspaper there, the Tri-State Defender in Memphis, Brother Calvin Anderson. We're going to do something in Memphis, not only to commemorate, but to rebirth and to reestablish what the civil rights movement is all about, what the organized labor movement is all about, and put forth a plan to address all of the discrimination problems that we are facing and what we look at. So that's number 3. Number 4, I want to talk about, we talk about these billionaires, Tracy. But, black folks, we are trillionaires. Let me say that again. We're worried about these billionaires, and we are trillionaires. We spend over $1 trillion. We spend almost $2 trillion every 12 months in the United States of America. We're the richest exploited people in the world. Let me say that again. We're the richest exploited people in the world. Black people in America spend $2 trillion every 12 months. And yet we're worried about Elon Musk. We're worried about Target. We're worried about these companies that we consume, that we keep alive. And then they talk about they're going to take away diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's a code word. It ain't about DEA. It's about whether or not black people are going to have access, whether or not black people are going to be treated with respect, whether or not we can be included in the decision-making of this company. So, yes, so this point is about our use of our dollars. And people say, well, it sounds like Dr. Chavis was calling for some kind of economic boycott. No, I'm talking about something beyond a boycott. And that's why Dr. King went to Memphis. But because not only were the sanitation workers in Memphis being mistreated, but the community at large. And one of the most large percentages of black cities in America today, Stacey, you know what it is? It's Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, yeah, without question.
Yeah, so that's why we're going to Memphis, on April the 4th. All right, I've given you some February dates. I've given you a March date.
Wait, Doc. One February date you haven't given folks. One March date, I should say, not February. Black Press Day.
I'm coming back to Black Press Day.
Okay.
Because we on this 7th of February, we're going to be discussing Black Press Day. And I believe that's the 13th of March. 13th of March at Howard University, the mecca of the HBCUs. HU, And so we're going back to the campus of Howard University on March 13th. So I hope y'all got your calendars out now. I'm talking about February the 2nd. I'm talking about February the 8th. I'm talking about March the 2nd. I'm talking about March the 13th. I'm talking about April the 4th. And we were just discussing what we're going to do I think that's 0.6, right? 0.5,
Correct.
0.6 about our $1 trillion that we're going to have to spend differently. We're going to have to stop spending with people that do not respect us. Let me say that again. We're going to have to stop spending with people who do not respect us. That's just fundamental. We're no longer going to fund apartheid in America. We're no longer going to fund white supremacy in America. We're no longer going to fund hatred in America. We're no longer going to fund contributing to the destruction of the planet, of the environment, of the climate, not only in America, but throughout the world. I'm jumping ahead now to number 7, and that is the whole South Africa. Again, why did I choose what's going on in South Africa, number 7? Because 7 is important to Black people. How many principles of Black do we have in the Nguzo Saba? 7. How many days of Kwanzaa? 7. And this goes back to ancient African history. I don't have time to give you an anthropology class today about where numbers even come from and our observance and where the history of how Black people decide to do what they do effectively. But my point number 7 is we say to our South African brothers and sisters, don't you worry. Don't you worry. We not only are we going to challenge the dismantling of the Agency for International Development, but I see an opportunity in this, Stacey and Greer. This is a time for us to start doing joint ventures with our South African brothers and sisters. And it's a time for them to start doing joint ventures with us. You know, our people in South Africa need to eat. We need to eat in America. We need to have clean water in America. They need to have clean water in South Africa. And again, when I talk about South Africa, we're talking about the whole continent. This point, we're convening with the AU, the African Union. And I've already talked to the head of the African Union about having a special call meeting with the leaders of Black America and the leaders of Africa, the leaders of the Caribbean, and the leaders of Brazil. A call meeting of the African Union. And we're going to be talking about this apartheid-like strategy against South Africa. But when you attack South Africa, you attack the whole African continent. When you attack Ghana, you attack the whole African continent. When you attack Angola, you attack the whole African continent. So we're going to be convening with the African Union to talk about a strategy, a long-term strategy. See, here's the thing, Stacey. We just can't be reacting to these executive orders that come out every day. What we need is a short term, but we need right.
Got to be proactive.
A proactive, long-term engagement and how we're going to move forward. And you know, look, I'm an OG. Yes, that's right. You know, I'm an original gangster. In case y'all don't know what the OG is. And this has nothing to do with the mafia. It has nothing to do with crime. It has nothing to do with stealing something from somebody. It's the original gangsters were those who decided that they were not going to take it no more and decided to do something for ourselves. And that has been the history of African people throughout the diaspora. So I'm looking forward to this convening special call meeting of the African Union with leaders from Africa, from Brazil, from the Caribbean, and from the United States of America. Next point, I think it's number 8.
Yes.
Hip hop youth, our young people. I'm so proud of the youth, of Black youth and other youth of America. They're less prejudiced than their parents. But the thing about our young people, Generation Z, millennials, we want to re-engage. I think if you look at what just happened in the Grammys a few days ago, Beyonce took over the country western, Kendrick Lamar took over the hip hop, but the whole entertainment industry I think that we need to be realigned, not separate and apart. This is not about who won a Grammy or who did not win a Grammy. This is not about who gets the Academy Award for your performance in the movie theater. This is not about who becomes the most valuable player in the NFL or in the National Basketball League. All these are great people. No put down, no player hating from me. But what I am saying is that God has blessed us with a culture. That God has blessed us with a music. That God has blessed us with a song. God is answering our prayers, and we don't even recognize how God is answering our prayers. And that is the opportunity for us now to stand up again and do something and raise up a generation of freedom fighters, to raise up a generation of poets, to raise up a generation of writers, to raise up a generation of thinkers, of coders, and where we develop our own sense of how to use the latest technology for freedom, justice, and equality. So yes, there will be a meeting soon with all the leaders of the hip hop community, and I've talked about resurrecting the Hip Hop Summit Action Network. That's an announcement. We're rebuilding, reopening the world's largest coalition of hip hop artists, not only in America, but in South Africa, in the Caribbean, in Brazil, and throughout the African continent, throughout the diaspora. That's point number 8. Point number 9. Number nine. I believe that the media, I've talked about the black press, but now I want to talk about especially social media. It's time for us to build our own social media platform. Not just in America, but I'm talking about a global social media platform that can be supported, that can be invested, that can be organized, that can be strategized, can be owned. We're worrying about Twitter or X. We're worrying about Facebook or Instagram or all these other things that we do not own. But we over-index on all these social media platforms. What I mean by over-indexation, we participate in them. Mm-hmm. Beyond our percentage of the population. We're 13% or 14%. I think it's around 15 or 16 because they unaccount us. But
all the time.
We're almost 50% of those who use Facebook, 50% of those who use Instagram. And even with Elon Musk, we're still disproportionately using Twitter and X. And even some now are using what that other platform that I can't even remember the name. It's so
Blue Sky. Blue Sky?
No. I'm talking about the truth thing.
Oh gosh. Really? Truth Social?
The Untruth Social.
Right.
So we all up in there. We're trying to get in everybody else's basket but our own. We're trying to get in everybody else's ship but our own. We're
all in the Kool-Aid, not knowing the flavor.
Well, it's not on the Kool-Aid. We drinking. We don't even want brown sugar. We want white sugar. So I hope y'all understand the analogies. I just want the analogies. I'm not, first of all, racist.
No, Doc, I know.
All forms of racism. The truth of the matter is, and this is going to shock some people, there's only one race, and that's the human race. Let me say that again. There's only one race, and that's the human race. In fact, the reason why I want you to get this transatlantic slave book is because it was the advent of the transatlantic slave trade that they started developing the concept of race. Race is a concoction. Race is a deliberate, hierarchical, pseudo-intellectual framework to say that some people have superiority over the other people based on skin color, based on skin fracture, based on who got a nose a certain way, who got lips a certain way, what color your eyes are, what color your hair. That is BS with a capital B and a capital S. That is BS with a capital B and a capital S. And some of you say, well, what is Dr. Chavis talking about? I'm talking about Black sustainability, BS. Okay? Because I know I don't want to break in the FCC rules because I know
Doc. Go ahead, break them. You got you
have rules. So I think I'm at number 10.
And Doc, you know, before you get to 10, just another point on that, on the book. You know, Chuck D, who wrote the foreword to the book, when we talk to Chuck, and every time I talk to Chuck, he is excited about that book. Now, Chuck has written his own books. He's done so many other things, but he's excited about this particular work. And he's meant a lot to this project. So we got to give a big shout out to the one and only Chuck D on that one.
Thank you. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the land. Lord have mercy. In the Psalms, it says, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Now, y'all, you say, well, dog, Ben, don't be preaching. I got to preach. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And if the earth belongs to God, the people on the earth belong to God. And why am I saying this? They're talking about taking away land in South Africa, that South Africans are reclaiming their land, but yet they want to remove the Palestinians from their land. I hope y'all hear me. What's going on in Congo right now? Millions of people are dying in the Congo. Nobody's saying nothing about it because there's a land grab for minerals. In the Sudan, hundreds of thousands of people are dying. These are African countries. The Sudan, South and North, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And all this been fueled by people who want to get the minerals out of Africa, who want to get the substance of the blessings of Africa. Because the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, that means what's in the earth is also blessed. And so we need to think about the land here in the United States of America. We need to reclaim our land, Stacey, in the South, our farmland. We need to reclaim what we refer to on Jim Jones' album as the concrete jungle in Brooklyn, the Bronx, in Harlem, in South Side Chicago, in Houston, Ward 4 and Ward 5, in Dallas, in Detroit, in St. Louis, in Los Angeles, in the Bay Area, and all over America where our people are concentrated, in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Georgia's still on our mind. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So this last point, those who are listening and those who will rehear this broadcast, get some land, own some land. Don't rent it, own it, buy it. Families are leaving thousands of acres of land and people are not using wills. Don't let your property stay as our property. Make sure there's intergenerational ownership of the property so we don't lose the land. There's something called black land laws. And of course, Stacey, you know about black missing, black children missing, black women missing in particular, black families missing. And one of the reasons why we're not mobilizing to stop the missing, because we have missed our land. We don't have a sense of who we are as a people. And when people of other hues get lost, it's a national emergency. But we got thousands, hundreds of thousands of young people that are missing in our community.
Doc,
so
it is because you certainly recall about, I want to say about 7 years ago, we started a series and on Black and missing girls. And it wasn't until then, with all the work that those two sisters, why I can't call their names, the two sisters that were their sister-in-laws anyway, but the Black and Missing Foundation, we started to bring their plight to light, and then it was followed by finally they're getting even more recognition for the great work that they were doing. Then it became an HBO documentary about it. So this is among the more proud things I've done and we've accomplished with the Black press in the last 10 years, is that boosting up Black and missing girls and women, because they are the most overlooked of all. Police generally immediately say, "Oh, they must have ran away," especially the young girls. They must have ran off with a boyfriend or a girlfriend or something. Whereas as a white child, they mobilize immediately.
So Stacey, if we go to the NMPA World News app, the NMPA World News app, there's a special section now on the app dedicated to missing Black people, to missing people, to missing women, to missing children. Go to the World News app, you'll see it right now. So on this last point, reclaiming the land, reclaiming the people, reclaiming the missing, reclaiming ourselves, reclaiming our self-respect, reclaiming our sense of diligence and working. We've always, as a people, had hard times, but we never let the hard times make us hard or make us give up. The reason why I think there's going to be not just a resilience in Black America, but we're going to pull together over the next few days, over the next few months, over the next few years, like we've never pulled together before. Not only in America, but throughout the diaspora. And I plan to use my last years on earth on these 10 points. And I plan to pass the baton to a generation of freedom fighters in America, in Africa, and throughout the diaspora. God bless the Black press. God bless Black America. God bless our struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. A luta continua.
Well, you've heard it from Dr. Chavis. Just a couple quick things, Doc, before you go. That I'm glad you broke all that down for us. Mike V says that there's a digital land grab as well, with all the tech CEOs lining up with Trump and MAGA on Inauguration Day.
If that's why we're going. That's why we're organizing our own social media platform. And I just want to say one more thing about the cover of this book. I only have Black African women who were enslaved and chained. Why did we, United States, design this cover the way it is? Because we got to remind ourselves that it's out of the womb of the African woman that came all of civilization, that came all of humanity. And these diabolical people who planned and executed the transatlantic slave trade, if you're talking about the wealth of Europe or the wealth of America today, it all comes from the enslavement, from the genocide, from the oppression, from the exploitation of our people. You know, and I just came from Israel, and there's no comparison in human history to the dreadful terrorism of the Holocaust under the Nazis. And my point is, there is no comparison in human history to the suffering of our people, of our ancestors in the transatlantic slave trade. So this is one book that the scientists is not going to be able to ban in Florida. This is one book that, you know, if you burn it, if you steal it, we're going to print some more. I just want to say thank you, Stacey. Thank you, Greer, for giving me an opportunity on behalf of the Black press of America. And I know I probably said a few controversial things. You know, I wanted to guide myself and not get into anything that is disrespectful. Because one of the things we have to do is rise to the occasion. We're not getting down into the gutter with people who don't respect other human beings. We're going to rise above it. And this is not saying, and I know some people say, well, we can't just rise. We got to get down and do the fight. We are going to do the fight, but we're going to write and do things that will enable us to win, not for a day, not for a week, not for a year, but for an eternity. Let us work together and let us unify and let us push forward. And these 10 points are not exclusive. This is just coming from me. I've been in touch, obviously, with other people who have like interests, like-minded. And the good news is, Stacey, I just want to report publicly that I have a sense that what Dr. King saw and foretold and promised and predicted is going to come true. This is not our worst hour. It can be our best hour if we work together, if we stand up together and speak together and do what the Lord requires us, but to do justice, love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God.
Well, our president and CEO, Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis Jr., we appreciate you rejoining Let It Be Known. Good to have you back. And we look forward to Friday. We're looking forward to all those activities, those 10 points. Thank you all for watching Let It Be Known. As always, we appreciate you. Like and share on our YouTube page. We'll see you tomorrow.